Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am driving this. This is the BMW 3 Series, the 320D. I've already reviewed the 330i M Sport. Now this comes in the luxury line. Let's open the engine bay right away, and this is the engine bay of the vehicle. It's a diesel. It's actually a new diesel engine in this vehicle. Yes, BMW has actually made a lot of revisions, and you know what? The clatter is actually lesser than before. You've got insulation right there as well, and at the front you can see the luxury line is slightly different. You know, you get this T-shaped arrow, whatever might remind you of Audi, Lamborghini, or whatever you want to call it. Actually, you've seen a lot of these on the Creta, the fake ones. Yeah, the aftermarket lights. Actually, no, I won't call it fake. You get this sting, which will remind you of the E46. The lights are beautiful, all LEDs here, and a single piece grille. The grille is also the biggest we've ever seen on a 3 Series. In fact, the grille is so big, it's also going upwards. And you know, you get this treatment here, which is sort of the gloss black finish. Meanwhile, this is closed. The grille is closed. It will automatically open once it needs to breathe better for the engine. So yeah, aerodynamic efficiency, yes. Front parking sensors, front towing hook, and of course the bumper also has a lot of cuts and creases on this blue shade. It looks really very nice. What doesn't look that nice are the wheels. The wheels are like, we've seen it a lot on 3 Series actually in the past as well, but just doesn't look adventurous enough for a car which looks so beautiful. I mean, it looks sort of luxurious. It should look sporty actually. The 3 Series is all about being sporty. Length has increased, wheelbase has increased, height has increased minutely, I believe, and I mean, it's wider as well. Everything has increased. The light looks really nice, but you know, somewhat, if you remove the 320D, I would say this is probably a Lexus, because there's a lot of I don't know what Lexus designer went to BMW or something of that sort. Rear parking sensors, no, rear fog lamps, rear parking sensors, rear towing hook, and of course, like at the front, you get this chrome treatment along with this is actually the reflector. You get this T-shape here. You get a single exhaust on either side, so it's a dual exhaust system, and of course, parking sensors all over the place. Car looks really nice in this blue shade somehow. I really love this color. I love the depth of the paint. I think it's called navy blue or something like that. Obviously, you get typical BMW elements, like at the rear, you get the shark fin antenna, and the design is really very nice. You see the cuts, creases. It's such a beautiful looking car. I know many might disagree and say, you know, the E46 was better in terms of driving maybe, but in terms of looks, I think I'm waiting for the M3 actually. Let's open the boot right away. Now the problem with the boot is that they've actually decided to give us a spare wheel, because of which, you know, this is quite risen, which actually reduces the boot carrying capacity, and there is a spare wheel of the vehicle. So unfortunately, you know, the boot isn't as big as you would expect, and you can recline the seat by pulling this. Yep, something has happened. I don't know what has happened, but pulling this has done something or the other. On the inside, I believe it is for reclining the seat. Yeah, let's try this again. Yeah, this is not moving. You have to actually pull it from there. So let's get here, and yeah, this actually pushed it forward, and then you can obviously recline it in 60-40 split, which increases the boot carrying capacity by quite a bit. So the rear seat space has also improved from before, but this is strictly a two-seater because the transmission tunnel is just too big. Got good door pockets. The seat color is also very nice, and it's a very luxurious car somehow. I mean, BMW 3 Series is obviously about driving pleasure more than anything else, and now people are quite interested to know about this new 3 Series. So yes, attracting a lot of attention as well. As you can see, although the cabin might be slightly wide enough, but you know, because of this, nobody can really sit here. And there is a center armrest here, and there are twin cup holders inside here. The seat recline angle is decent. There's good amount of headroom on offer. There's good amount of knee room, leg room as well. Under thigh support is decent, but under thigh support is always lacking for me. Meanwhile, you've got AC controls here and twin USB-C charging ports. Yeah, USB-C charging ports. There's also a 12-volt charging socket. Scooped out seat back. There are magazine holders here as well. So yes, the car feels really solidly put together. And let's quickly get into the driver's seat. Now, certain features are missing when compared to the M Sport. First and foremost, there's no gesture control. Ouch. Secondly, it also misses out on a wireless charging pad. Yeah, there was a wireless charging pad here. That's gone. Twin cup holders here. USB socket here. This seems to be the only USB. Others are the USB-C. The space below here as well. And another USB-C along with a light. Glove box is also decent size, I would say. But the dashboard looks super duper awesome, doesn't it? Yeah, the new dashboard definitely looks really nice indeed. And obviously you get an auto dimming inside rear view mirror. There's a nice sunroof as well. Now here the quirky bit is you're so used to, you know, opening the sunroof by your hand, actually the sun blind by your hand. In cars of this price bracket, anyways, it doesn't open more than this. It doesn't open more than this. So over here now I was like trying to close it like this, don't need to realize now they have actually, yes, that's right, they have actually made it an automatic sun blind. Yeah, electric sun blind actually, to be frank. Anyways, the front seats are very, very comfortable. nice bolstering as well. In fact, both the front seats get electric adjust. Meanwhile, the driver's seat also gets memory function, and these are the controls for the light. Steering is really nice. This instrument cluster, well, it's quite debatable. This is a 12.3-inch unit. Colors are nice, but you know, the map is taking almost everything here. I don't know why there's so much emphasis on the map. What the hell? Anyways, I put it on map right now, actually, to be honest. But yeah, it doesn't get gesture control, but you know, it gets a touchpad here. It obviously gets a touchscreen as well, so you can use the touchscreen as well. Meanwhile, if I want to type something, yeah, here I can type something like that. Okay, so she's actually trying to read what I'm trying to say, but yes, that touchpad also works very nicely. And in fact, you get this dual zone climate control system at the front. Everything seems very nice and easy to operate somehow. But this 12.3-inch unit, well, classic dials are quite missing here. This is a 10.25-inch unit. The lower trim, the sport line, actually gets an even smaller screen, but you have voice commands in this car. Hey BMW.
Good evening. What can I help you with?
I am feeling cold.
No problem. I'm raising the temperature.
There, it has raised the temperature by 2 degrees on the driver's side, not the co-driver's side. It's intelligent enough to understand all that and more. And the whole system is really very nice. It's like, I love the colors on offer. I love the fact that, you know, BMW has still retained great amount of quality in this vehicle. Although, you know, lower down you can kind of find hard plastics as well. But this is the luxury line. Could have had a lot more wood as well. But yeah, you have some wood here. You've got this sort of a tan treatment. Seats are extremely comfortable, nice. Gear lever feels good to hold as well. Yeah, quality could have been better in certain areas, but a lot of buttons here. This is for obviously the drive mode. This is for the traction control and the parking mode as well. Now let's quickly get into reverse. Now this is the reverse camera. It gives a good view of what's around. It gets front and rear parking sensors as well. So there is something known as reversing assistant. So here I'm going to drive, and you can see the steering inputs I'm giving. It's just like I'm trying to simulate my parking, because yeah, it is kind of difficult. Now here we are. Now when I get into reverse, okay, I'm going to get into reverse, and you will see the reversing assistant at work. So here we are into reverse, and there, yes, it is going to simulate the same action in reverse which I was doing sometime back. Yes, yeah, that's that. Oh, okay, stop. So that's also very cool. Reversing assistant works really well indeed. Meanwhile, let's quickly play an audio right away. So where's the phone? Actually, it's in my pocket. So I need it on Bluetooth, and we will play an audio right away. Alright, the audio quality is brilliant as well. I love this car. I love BMWs. They're so phenomenal. But how is this 320D to drive? Well, I've already reviewed the 330i M Sport. Click here to see that. It's a very detailed video. So we're going to focus on the engine and the diesel motor right away. Alright, we're all set to go, which means getting into drive mode, getting into sport mode, turning off the stop start system. Actually, it's already turned off. Turning off traction control, getting it into sport gearbox as well. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, and off we go. Little bit of wheel spin on offer, but you know, BMW has done an absolute fantastic job in terms of putting all that power down. This is a 2-liter diesel engine which produces 190 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. Now many of you will remember that the old 3 Series also made the same power and torque, or rather almost there itself. So is it the same engine? Well, not quite, because BMW has actually made changes to this motor. For starters, it now doesn't use a twin scroll turbocharger. Instead, it uses twin sequential turbos, because of which the whole characteristic of this engine has completely changed. There is so much more punch on offer, and drivability is great. Low end lag is very well contained and feels really punchy as well lower down. Mid-range is obviously where the meat of the power lies, and it really pulls hard and fast. 190 horsepower at 4000 RPM. Meanwhile, the torque output of 400 Newton meters comes in at 1750 RPM and stays still 2500 RPM. I don't know what's the obsession between 1750 to 2500 RPM, because with the X5 diesel as well, the peak torque comes in at the same RPM as well, although the engine is completely different. That one uses a 6-cylinder. This is a 4-cylinder, goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 7.2 seconds or 6.8 seconds with launch control, which although is missing on this car. As you can see, the refinement from this motor is just surreal. It feels so silent, so composed, and you can barely hear anything inside the cabin. That's the level of refinement and smoothness on offer. BMW has done a fab job with the engine refinement. Trust me on this. It just feels so smooth and refined. It doesn't feel boomy at all. Till 2500-3000 RPM, you can't hear anything. After that, obviously, the motor gets vocal, because this is an engine which likes to redline all the way till 5000 RPM, and that's where, you know, the sound can be heard, but in a sporty way. this motor doesn't actually feel like a 4-cylinder. It feels slightly bigger than a 4-cylinder, like somewhere around 4.25 cylinders, because the punch is just so much better. Top speed is 220 kilometers per hour or around that ballpark, and you know, it really pulls hard and fast. This engine is such a gem. In fact, dare I say it, it is one of the best 4-cylinder diesel engines in the market. That's how well calibrated an engine BMW has made. So overall performance, you will never ever feel it lacking in this car. It just feels so good. The only gripe I have is that, you know, somehow some amount of road noise can be heard inside, because I didn't feel the same with the 330i M Sport. And talking about the M Sport, well, there's a difference because this car is running on smaller tires, 17 inches in lieu of the 18 inches on the M Sport, the 330i. The M Sport is not available at all with the 320d. Around the corners, it's really very fluid. In fact, the steering offers really good amount of feel and feedback, and the suspension has been supremely well calibrated. So there is nothing to complain about the performance of this vehicle, and actually the noise is not there. I was feeling there is some amount of noise. I could hear a lot more of the road noise because one of the window was slightly open. Thanks Daniel for telling me that. Anyways, around the corners it is really very fluid. Now, BMW has made a lot of changes. Firstly, they've shifted to the cluster architecture, which is also seen in the 5 Series, the 7 Series, the X5, the X7 and a lot of other BMW cars. So this modular platform is lighter. In fact, the weight of the 3 Series has dropped by up to 55 kgs depending on the variant. It's gone stiffer between 25 to 50% depending on the body part you're talking about, and obviously you get 50-50 weight distribution, which gives it great balance. The steering is really fluid. It's light at lower speeds, it weighs brilliantly at higher speeds, and it just feels so fantastic to drive. Now, what has really changed the game here is the fact that BMW has come up with something known as lift type dampers. What it actually is, basically it has an additional piston for rebound damping, which just improves the ride quality of this vehicle. Look at the body control, body roll. What is that? The 3 Series does not believe in any sort of body roll because it just feels so fluid and dynamic. Yes, the M Sport is definitely better than 330i, but then of course it runs on bigger wheels as well, which really helps its cause. As you can see, the overall ride and handling balance is surreal on this car. Yes, it is still on the stiffer side and you can feel the stiffness at lower speeds over bad roads, but for the most part the ride quality is brilliant. The handling is also great. The steering becomes faster and faster and faster and more responsive as you increase the pace, and especially at triple digit speeds it just feels so brilliant. I mean, changing a lane is just like moving the steering a slight bit, and now right now my ears are started to close because of the climb here, which is surprising, which has never happened before. Making a quick overtake on the highway is all about flexing your right foot because there is just instant response from this motor. Turbo lag? What turbo lag? This car does not have any sort of turbo lag. Drivability is great, and still it actually puts a massive smile on your face out on the highway because of the great mid-range punch. The gearbox is actually what really makes it shine so well because it's an 8-speed gearbox sourced from ZF, of course, beautifully tuned, really fast with shifts, and you have paddle shifters as well. You can have manual mode here too. So here we are right now in manual mode, and it is just so freaking quick with shifts. It gives you a downshift whenever you're looking for one, which is the best thing. And around the corners, just look at this, okay? Look at the balance, look at the sure-footedness, look at the composure and the feel and feedback from the steering wheel. It is just so freaking awesome. Okay, power is channeled only to the rear wheels, but still there is no sort of oversteer on offer as long as you keep the traction control on or on sport mode. Now it will not upshift unless and until I do so. Redlining above 5000 rpm, somewhere around 5300 rpm. Well, that is the BMW diesel for you. Really fab. That's a lot of wheel spin. Manual control of the gears gives you complete manual control of the gears. It will not upshift unless and until you decide to do so, which is really very fab. So this BMW 3 Series is just fantastic, okay? Now, in spite of the increase in size, they have actually made it more fluid to drive, which is just super duper awesome. They've reduced the CG as well. You know, those air vents, or rather the air vents inside the grille, they open and close according to the amount of cooling the engine needs, which basically helps its cause in terms of aerodynamic efficiency as well. Certainly a great car. Fuel economy is between 12 to 15 kilometers per liter depending on your driving style, and we have got 3 drive modes on offer. There's Eco Pro, there's Comfort, there's Sport as well, and right now I'm driving in Sport mode. It just feels so eager in Sport mode. Now, I've already explained a lot of the technical aspects of this car in my earlier video of the 330i M Sport, and the 330i M Sport is the flagship. Its price is rupees 57 lakhs, which is 20,000 more than this variant, the 320D, which is available in a luxury line trim. Meanwhile, there's also a Sport line, which is is priced at rupees 50 lakhs. So yes, the petrol might be expensive, but the diesel seems to offer the bang for the buck you're looking for, although an M Sport variant at this price point would have been really salivating. I mean, I don't know why there's no M Sport for the diesel, but eventually BMW is definitely going to offer it, because most buyers are going to opt for the M Sport either which ways, whether it's available in petrol or diesel, because it just looks so gorgeous and has more features as well. BMW has still kept the formula intact of making a car which just handles so brilliantly well, and in that sense the 3 Series is indeed one of the best picks in the segment, because not only is it the best driving car in the segment, it now offers a lot more value in every regard. In fact, it is a better all-rounder as well. So guys, this is my review of the BMW 320d, the luxury line trim, the 3 Series, the G20, the 7th generation model. If you liked it, you know what you have to do. Give it a thumbs up, that's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye, take care, see you, and let me know which car would you pick. Would you pick the 3 Series or will you pick the C-Class facelift? Although I'm really tempted to tell you this, that I will pick the C63 right now, because the M3, the new M3 is yet to arrive. But trust me, when the new M3 arrives, it's going to be an absolute lip-smacking awesome machine, and very difficult to beat as well. Bye bye. Okay, let's turn off the stop start. So we get into sport mode right now, and the gear lever is in drive, gear lever in sport as well, and off we go. So as you can see, performance is really very nice of this 3 Series. On the track, yes, it kind of feels softer than I would have liked. Certainly feels quite a bit soft actually, and that's fine, but you know, the balance from the car is really very nice. Just look at the way it goes. Okay, through the corners, getting onto the gas, just the perfect balance, not too much of understeer on offer, and there it's telling me exactly when to shift gears, when not to shift gears. So red lines all the way till 5000 rpm plus. It will not upshift unless and until I decide to do so, which is also a very good thing indeed. Performance is super duper awesome, and it's just the level of refinement performance which is so pleasing on this vehicle. It's certainly a very nice car in that sense, you know, the way it performs, it's super duper awesome. So like I was telling you, the dynamic balance is just surreal. Okay, around the corners it feels so freaking awesome. The way this BMW goes gives a lot of feel and feedback. Obviously, I mean, it feels a little soft for the track. It's not an M3 at the end of the day, but still, come to the corners, calm the brakes. Okay, I've not spoken about the brakes through this whole vlog, but the brakes are also very good indeed. I mean, super brakes, although, you know, the dampers, oh yeah, they're super awesome. They're just super awesome. But at times you just feel, you know, that if you hit a bump hard, the car can lose its composure to a bit. But through the corners, just look at the composure of this vehicle right now in manual mode. Oh god, oh my god, what a car. What a car indeed. And the brakes, super duper strong. So these guys are shooting the KTM Duke 90. Writing that makes me feel this BMW is soft. Bye bye.